So I'm basically just working on transitions here. My main cue is my vision. So basically I'm making sure that I'm looking to a specific spot on each target, and I'm moving my eyes as soon as possible. So as soon as I feel myself breaking that second shot, I'm snapping my eyes to the next spot, and hopefully the gun is following. The other thing that I'm looking for is that the gun follows and it stops precisely where I'm looking. And I'm firing that next shot on the next target again as soon as possible. So on these closer targets, I need a little bit less visual confirmation, or how can I put this? I can shoot that shot when all I see is kind of just red, right? Streaking over the dot or over the spot that I'm looking on. At that back target, I'm looking for the dot to kind of stop where I'm looking before I fire that shot. But again, I don't want the dot to stop and then there's a pause and then I shoot. It basically, as soon as that dot stops, I'm firing, and with the second shot, the same thing. I'm firing again. So on that very far back target, I'm very reactive. So in other words, I'm deciding to shoot based on my sight picture for each of the two shots. On these closer targets, especially this one, I'm shooting predictively. So as soon as I see that streak over the A zone, I'm firing two shots as fast as I can pull the trigger. So let's go take a look at the targets. I'm calling all pretty much clean hits, maybe Charlie's, but nothing very far off. Everything looks solid right where I was looking on the target. So let's take a look. Okay, so we'll start with this first one. I did have a couple Charlies, and that was just my index was off. I looked to the wrong spot. These two right here, that was one pair. I just looked here and fired. But the rest of them, I have one to a Charlie. So this one is good. This here, when I first started, I was giving this a little bit more. So I was looking up here, and then as the strings progressed, I started looking more down here to the middle. So again, a couple of Charlies, but no shoots. That's what's important with this target. I'd rather look here and maybe get one Charlie, one Alpha, than to look too close and end up getting one Alpha and one Mike and no shoot, right? So that's where I'm looking there. Here, I'm looking at the middle of the target. Now, this is what's interesting here. You'll notice all my shots are over here, more concentrated to the right. Again, no deltas, very close Charlies, but this is interesting to me. So am I looking over here? Am I doing something when I'm manipulating the trigger to drive the shots to the right? Or is my dot not zeroed anymore? I don't know. I hit the steel every time. So I have a mini popper there. I think I hit it every single time, which is good. Okay, so this here, there's two. I did not call that. And I also was not seeing these low shots. So this is, again, concerning to me. So see how so I don't think it's my dot. So that last target, I said that it could be my dot is not zeroed. Doesn't seem to be, because all of these shots are to the middle. So it could be that I'm just over transitioning a bit, and I'm kind of dragging shots towards the right side. So when the gun comes in from this target, I'm kind of over transitioning slightly. So I got to be more persistent and look at that signal, that's zero. Basically a small spot on the target. I don't want to just look at either the whole A zone or the whole brown area, because wherever you look, that's where the bullets are going to go. And I want them to go right there. So I'm going to tape all this up, or at least the non-alphas, and do this a little bit more and really try and pay more attention on this back target to see what's going on here. All right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Good. This was my cold. I hadn't fired any shots this morning, so this was all cold here. So this is basically who I am as a shooter. And then from here, based on what I'm seeing, then I'm going to kind of adjust and work on certain things. I may just shoot that back target a little bit to see if I'm just not calling the shots, if I'm not looking at the right spot. Am I milking the trigger and driving the gun down? So that's what I want to find out with that back target. So okay, so in the last exercise, I mentioned that on that back target, I was, I had two deltas like touching, and I had some low Charlies. As I was shooting, I wasn't calling that stuff. So what I mean by calling is basically I see where my dot is when the shot breaks, so I can get a general understanding of where on the target that bullet hole should be, and I was not seeing that. So that is more concerning than the actual Charlies or deltas, because if I can see it happening, I can send a makeup shot, and also I'm more aware of what's going on to see why am I driving those shots down. So what I ended up doing is, instead of running this whole drill, I basically drew onto that target with one shot and then transitioned. The reason why I did that, because it could be that I'm just not transitioning the gun precisely to where I'm looking and I'm just firing. So I want to kind of keep that element of the drill, but break it down to that one component so that I can do a little bit closer analysis and cue in on what's going on. So right now I was paying very close attention to trying to call my shot. So I'm saying that I know that I have a couple of high shots way up at the top of the A zone, maybe even in the high Charlie. I know I have, or I'm calling a delta to the right, and then also a delta over to the left lower portion of the target. Maybe it's a Charlie, but it's definitely towards the left low. And those, the deltas on the right and the high shots were just poor transition. It wasn't precise enough. I came over with the first transition onto it, and my dot just was really high up on the target, and I just decided to fire. The other one where it's on the right side, I just over transitioned. I muscled the gun a little bit too much, and I kind of dragged off, fired, and then came back. The other one was a little bit of milking the trigger. I didn't have a tight grip from my support hand, and I kind of drove the gun down a little bit to compensate. So let's go take a look at that target and see if I'm right. And this target's about 20 yards. So it's a 20-yard target. My splits are hovering in the low 40s, high 30s, which is pretty good. So here we go. So here you go. So here are these two shots that I called, that I saw very high up on the perf, and I either thought that they were around here or maybe in the Charlie zone. So that was the first pair for the first transition. And then these two low ones here, I called that as well. What I'm not seeing is that what I thought I drove the gun over here when I fired, but it could be these two here, these pairs. And I thought I over transitioned a bit. So that's pretty good from a shot calling perspective. I'm happy about that, because this is something that, I'm trying to develop. I'm not as good as other guys are as far as the shot calling skills, but it's an important skill to have. It's one of those things that'll take you, like all the GMs, all the master guys, master class guys, they shot call. So super important, because you're making up misses in real time immediately, and you're not looking for holes in the target, which is super slow, and you're making up points that would otherwise be lost. So very happy, and also happier with my grouping or where these shots are landing. I was much more cued in, much more focused, and I really wanted those shots to go into the A zone. So so basically this is what you want to do, is you run a drill which has a lot of elements, you figure out, you do it a few times, you pick up on some patterns, or you see something that's not going right on part of the drill, and you break it down to that one element and you focus on that one piece of the drill rather than doing the whole thing. One, that's way more efficient. You're going to get to the bottom of what's going on. You can really cue in and focus on that piece of the drill. And it's also very efficient from an ammo perspective. So this is something that I learned when I was, when I had a gold membership on PSTG, on Practical Shooting Training Group. Ben and Juansik, the pros there, they really helped me out in developing a training plan like this and really learning how to train and being much more efficient than just coming and just spewing ammo downrange and really not understanding what's going on. So hopefully this is good for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I'll be sure to answer them. All right, guys, thank you.